stand up with that man and let him just throw you out of the club.
Derrick Henry in high school was essentially a giant. Believe it or not, but when he was in high school, he was basically the same size as he is right now in the NFL. He was a 6'3", 242-pound man who could bench press 345 and squat 500 and ran a 4.540.
But for as big as he was, most of his highlights are of him leaving defenders in the dust.
Can you imagine being a high school linebacker trying to tackle that? In 4 years at Yulee High School in Florida near Jacksonville, he rushed for 12,000 yards, including 2,400 as a freshman and 4,200 as a senior. Derrick Henry was arguably the greatest high school running back of all time.
They come from all over.
Oh, it's going to be a good game.
To catch a glimpse.
Here come your 2012 Yulee Hornets.
Of the one they call Prodigy.
Pitch to Derrick Henry, makes two men miss.
Oh, he's so big.
Gets the first down.
He's just a monster.
Despite having the greatest running back, the Yulee Hornets were only 10-4. Okay, I have no idea what happened, but how do you lose 4 games when you have a running back that rushes for 4,000 yards? Derrick was the #1 running back recruit, but scouts feared he was too big for the backfield, and they wanted him to play defensive end. He went to Alabama, where in 2016 he beat Christian McCaffrey and Deshaun Watson to win the Heisman. But NFL scouts thought he might have too much wear and tear on his body, so he was only drafted in the 2nd round with the 45th pick by the Tennessee Titans.
Every game I know the defense is coming to stop me. I'm on the main thing they want.
Let's go, King!
Josh Allen grew up an all-American kid. He never went to football camp, but he liked playing sports. In high school, he was a letterman in football, basketball, and baseball. He was actually able to throw a fastball more than 90 miles per hour.
But I played football, I played basketball and baseball, so I was a 3-sport guy. And I know plenty of guys that did that didn't pan out.
Didn't work at all.
They freaking get burnt out. Like they continue doing the same thing. Yeah, it's absolutely real.
Yeah.
So, and I got the chance to play different sports than a lot of kids need to continue to do is play more sports.
Yeah, one sport athletes at the age of like 8 years old.
Yeah,
that ain't
terrible.
Get him out.
Play every sport, dude.
Every
sport. Play soccer, play basketball.
I did gymnastics for a little bit.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
I'd keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's not balance, dog.
Yeah.
That was like 3 weeks ago, too.
Don't tell, no.
Dog, I need those photos. If that's true, I need a photo. You
Are you in a leotard or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll find it.
No, I'm just kidding.
His family owned a 3,000-acre cotton farm in Firebaugh, California, near Fresno. In football, he was good, but far from great. In 2 seasons, he led the Firebaugh Eagles to a 17-6 record and 5,000 total yards and 59 touchdowns.
And you weren't recruited out of high school?
I had 0 offers out of high school. I had no preferred walk-ons out of high school. Yep.
Now, were you just not very good in high school? Why don't you think you were getting a lot of pub? Because you're in California.
I mean, you could check tape.
You were slinging it?
I was slinging that thing, yeah. Yeah, no. I felt like I was good enough to play. That's obviously why I tried to continue and went the junior college route.
Josh didn't receive a single college offer of any kind and went to junior college. He still had a strong arm and believed in himself. He ended up sending mass emails to more than 1,000 college coaches saying that he was a 6'5" quarterback with a cannon of an arm. He got the attention of 2 schools, Eastern Michigan and Wyoming, so he was off to Larimore to play for the Cowboys. Josh was impressive right from the get-go, but in his first start for the Cowboys, he was trying to do too much, and he broke his collarbone on a 30-yard run. He came back the next season and displayed enormous potential. He, in 2 seasons, had almost 6,000 total yards and 56 total touchdowns. Josh Allen had so much potential that he was drafted 7th overall by the Buffalo Bills.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have traded the 7th pick to the Buffalo Bills. With the 7th pick, the Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming.
Did anybody ever come to you with like bags of money or anything to be like, hey, come and play for our school?
No, I wasn't good enough for that. Maybe some guys, but not me.
Yeah. Do you believe that still exists?
I don't think it's as prevalent as some people think, but it definitely happens.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow was born in Ames, Iowa, when his dad was a football coach at Iowa State. His family moved around a lot as his dad coached for different teams. He eventually settled in Athens, Ohio, where he went to high school. His senior season, he was a 4-star recruit, 7th among quarterbacks in the nation. He led his team to the state championship game, but lost 56-52. He describes it as the worst day of his life.
I think it's easily the worst feeling in the world. Worst day of my life. There's not much more to be said.
He was off to Ohio State University, where in 3 seasons he only threw 39 passes, and even though he completed 29 of them, he never got the respect of Coach Urban Meyer. In his final game at Ohio State, he broke his hand, and Burrow is too professional to hold a grudge against Urban Meyer.
And so I kind of knew saw the writing on the wall that he was going to kind of be the guy. And so I kind of decided to.
Coach O reached out to you and was like, hey, we got an opportunity for you? Or
But one of the former coaches at Ohio State introduced him to LSU coach Ed Orgeron, who instantly saw the talent. Burrow graduated college and transferred to LSU, where he was joined by receivers Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, and created one of the best offenses college football has ever seen. In 2019, the team was undefeated and won the national championship game, and Joe Burrow was voted by unanimous vote the Heisman Trophy winner. Despite being a little older, because he had 5 years of college football, he was drafted first overall by the Cincinnati Bengals.
The first pick in the 2020 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU.
Najee Harris, Antioch, California. As a child, Najee Harris and his family struggled. By the time Najee was 14, he had already lived in 7 different cities and even spent time living in the motels, in vans, and even homeless shelters. Najee's mom and 5 kids moved to Antioch, California, near Oakland. Initially, they lived in a hotel near where his mom worked as a medical assistant. As a freshman, Najee went out for football, and he was an instant talent, but he didn't even like playing at first.
Especially had a Hell Week. I didn't know nothing about Hell Week. Like some ab workouts, running, like this little stuff, running, cutting, you know what I'm saying? Putting on pads and running with that on too. It was just like something new for me, so I hated it. And every time I wanted to quit, they was like, it's only a week. You'll be done. It's a couple more days. That's when I start believing in myself a lot. I remember all that though, like it was yesterday, that whole week. And I think ever since that day, I felt really confident in myself.
When the coaches and administrators found out that he was living in a hotel, they met with his family and found them an apartment near the high school. When Najee was younger, he got into trouble a lot, and they lived in a tough part of town. But being an instant success in football, Najee found a new calling.
Well, there I was like, yeah, this works. Yeah, no football if we get kicked out of class today. And it started working. It started working.
The football coaches actually kept the lights on at the practice field where Najee could practice until 10 o'clock at night. And to help the players, they held practices later in the evenings so the players could work with tutors to improve their grades. A math teacher at Antioch, Brandy Thompson, took special interest in Najee. Brandy Thompson was not a football fan, but he knew how talented Najee was. Najee studied running backs like Adrian Peterson and Barry Sanders and implemented their style in his workouts. At the end of high school, he was ranked 9th overall and 2nd among running backs.
Play this weekend with all eyes on number 2, who has every intention of being number 1.
I want to be like a Hall of Fame person, like a legend. It's hard, it's kind of crazy to say, but that's what my goal is.
He was off to Alabama, where he won 2 national championships as a freshman and senior. In 2021, when it was time to be drafted into the NFL, he hosted his celebration party at the Greater Richmond Interfaith Homeless Shelter in Richmond, Virginia, where he spent a lot of time growing up as a child. He was drafted 24th overall and is on his 4th consecutive 1,000-yard rushing season. Today, he operates the Bigger Picture Foundation to raise money for homeless shelters.
Shutterfly loves stories like yours, and they want to help you by giving your nonprofit $10,000.
Myles Garrett, Arlington, Texas. Myles Garrett is another player who was almost as big and strong as a kid as he is today. In high school, he was a 6'4", 250-pound player and could run a 4.5 40, and he had a 36-inch vertical. One of his brothers, who was 6'11", had a stint in the NBA. The problem was, when Myles was young, he didn't like sports. His mom made him play, and she signed him up for Pee Wee football.
Anything you like, do whatever makes you happy, but you're gonna play some sports.
He played like 1 year Pee Wee football, and it got hot in Texas, and he dragged off that field and handed his dad his cleats and helmet and said, I don't want to do this anymore.
I was playing football at that time, even though I really didn't want to, but at that time, I really didn't care for football. I wanted to play running back. Oh, you can't play running back, you're too big. So I played offensive lineman. Definitely not for me.
After a couple of practices, Myles thought it was too hot in Arlington, Texas, and wasn't having very much fun. He told his mom he didn't want to play anymore, and he handed his dad the cleats. He didn't play again until his freshman season in high school. What Myles really liked was poetry. Myles preferred poetry, but he was a natural talent at football.
What was for Garrett, he was discovering in high school, was a love for poetry.
My grandmother introduced it to me. I mean, she had written poems with me.
Some kids, they'd rather die than have any kind of exposure or experience of poetry, and so
I can probably count on one hand the amount of student athletes that I've had that are into poetry, and that's what I saw when I saw him sitting in my class. He was an old soul.
Athletics, I'm in the poetry club. In high school, I was kind of lost.
By his junior season, he was a 5-star recruit and one of the best players in the country. He was off to Texas A&M, where in 3 seasons and 36 games, he recorded 32.5 sacks. He became the #1 player in the 2017 draft, but 2 days before the draft, Hall of Famer Warren Sapp said that Myles Garrett is lazy and only makes 4 plays a game. Garrett shrugged off the comments and was drafted 1st overall by the Cleveland Browns and has been a 5-time Pro Bowler in the NFL. Kyler Murray, Allen High School, Texas. Kyler Murray is arguably the best athlete of all time. He went to Allen High School, a suburb of North Dallas near Plano. In high school football, Murray had a perfect 42-0 record with 3 straight Texas state championships. He broke all the Texas quarterback scoring records with 78 total touchdowns his senior season. He was also a top baseball prospect coming out of high school. He decided not to enter the MLB draft and went to play both sports at Texas A&M. His dad was a standout football player at Texas A&M, and his uncle, Calvin Murphy, had a long baseball career. At Texas A&M, Murray lost a quarterback competition and was the team's backup QB. After his freshman season, he transferred to Oklahoma, but had to sit out a season due to NCAA transfer rules. 2017 at Oklahoma, Murray was a backup quarterback behind Baker Mayfield. He finally got his chance in 2018, where he led Oklahoma to an 11-2 record and 54 total touchdowns and won the Heisman Award. Murray was also drafted 9th overall by the Oakland A's as a left fielder.
Murray was faced with an internal battle. The Oakland Athletics selected Murray 9th overall in the 2018 MLB draft. Now a decision was needed to be made. Play baseball or football?
Which one do you love more?
I'm picking up a baseball bat and I'm not looking back.
Would you agree that you can't do both?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'd love to, yeah.
And even signed a contract with them. He decided to enroll in the NFL draft, where he was selected 1st overall. An interesting fact about Murray is that he's the shortest player ever drafted in the 1st round at 5'10" as a quarterback. Joe Mixon, Freedom High School, California. Joe Mixon went to Freedom High School in Oakley, California, just 7 miles from Najee Harris at Antioch. Mixon was a regional football celebrity his senior season while Najee was just a freshman. Mixon was a #1 running back in the 2014 class with more than 47 Division I scholarship offers. On November 1st, Freedom played at Antioch. Harris split his time between running back and linebacker, in which he held Mixon to only 59 yards and forced him to fumble. Harris rushed for 92 yards and scored his first touchdown. Freedom beat Antioch 28-27 in overtime, but after the game, Mixon met with the media and Harris and passed his celebrity status on to Najee. Mixon was off to Oklahoma, where in 2 seasons he had almost 3,000 yards and 26 touchdowns. That was good enough to earn him a second-round draft choice with the Cincinnati Bengals. CeeDee Lamb, Foster High School, Texas.
I don't feel like there's anything I can't do on the football field.
CeeDee Lamb was born in Opelousas, Louisiana, when Hurricane Katrina struck in 2005. CeeDee was just 6 years old, and his neighborhood got hit hard. CeeDee and his family, they were off to Houston, Texas. CeeDee admits that when he was young, he wasn't that sociable. He just preferred playing sports and staying up late at night playing sports-related video games. His mother drove him 45 minutes every single day so he could play football on a team that CeeDee thought was good for him. CeeDee played at Foster High School in Richardson, Texas, a town of 8,000 people in southwest Houston. In CeeDee's senior season, his team went 14-1, and CeeDee actually caught 2 Hail Mary passes on 2 consecutive plays.
He is the only person in America that I've known in my lifetime to catch 2 Hail Marys in one game. And everybody's like, how's that possible? Well, let me tell you.
It was a game versus Port Lavaca. He caught the first Hail Mary, but a flag was thrown for an illegal man downfield. They did the play again, and again, CeeDee came down with the ball. CeeDee was the 4th best high school receiver in Texas history. As a senior, CeeDee caught 98 passes for 2,032 yards and 33 touchdowns. CeeDee was off to Oklahoma, where he was an instant success, catching 7 touchdowns as a true freshman, where he was selected 17th overall in the 2020 NFL Draft by the Dallas Cowboys.